श्रीमान वेंकटनाथार्य कवितार्किक केसरी वेदांताचार्य वर्यो मे सन्निधत्तां सदा हृदि श्रीवासरंग परकाल मुनित्रयाप्त लक्ष्मात्मरक्षणैतित्योगागमान्तम् आचार्य भक्ति परिपूतमनर्गशीलं गोपालदेशिकमुनिं गुरुमाश्रयामः व्यासं वसिष्ठनप्तारं शक्तेः पौत्रमकल्मषं पराशरात्मजं वन्दे सुखतातं तपोनिधिं व्यासाय विष्णुरूपाय व्यासरूपाय विष्णवे नमो वै ब्रह्मनिधये वासिष्ठाय नमो नमः। यत्र योगेश्वर कृष्णो यत्र पार्थो धनुर्धरः तत्र श्रीर्विजयो भूतिर्ध्रुवानीतिर्मतिर्मम. So from Mahabharata we have the two wonderful divine esoteric works. One is of course what we have been reciting, chanting, learning, Sri Vishnu Sahasranama, and the other one is BHAGAVAD GITA. These two come from the Mahabharata, and Vishnu Sahasranamam is actually narrated by Krishna's devotee Sri Bhishma Pitamaha in the presence of Krishna. Krishna as the Sakshi, the witness, and he was narrating to Yudhishthira, and it is as compiled by Vyasa. And these are not just Bhishma's concoction. He never came out with these names. It is as given by rishis, as revealed to rishis, as picked up by rishis, these names. There are very many names for Parimal, and only 1008 names have been written or listed in Vishnu Sahasranam. And we enjoyed, due to the grace of Acharya, the various meanings of the individual slokams and the individual names of those Vishnu Sahasranam. So now we are going to the other work of Mahabharata, which is Srimad Bhagavad Gita. We saw chapter 1, 2, 3, 4 in the last few weeks. Chapter 1, it talked about Arjuna, who was forced into the battle of Kurukshetra with his own dear cousins and Acharya and the grandfather. When he saw them arrayed against him, he was totally deluded, confused. He was at the crossroads whether he needs to actually fight and kill them or even win them. What for? What is it that I am going to gain? So he simply was at the totally confused state. He surrendered to Krishna Paramatma, who out of his infinite easy accessibility, the Saulabhyam and Saushilyam, opted to serve as the divine chauffeur, divine driver, charioteer for Arjuna. The Sarveshwaran came as a driver for Arjuna, and Arjuna sought the driver's advice as to the best way out of this problem. That was chapter 1. Chapter 2, we saw Krishna advised that Arjuna's affection is inappropriate, was misplaced, and at the wrong moment, because he had confused their bodies to their souls. He clarified the soul and the body are two different things. You cannot kill the soul. At the worst, you are killing the body. And the soul is eternal. It is taking the body one after the other, after every birth. There is no question of anyone killing anyone in this world or anywhere. So, as the body was anyway going to perish sooner or later, he was not to worry about it at all. He advised that having come to the battlefield as a Kshatriya Dharma, you need to perform your duty. Whether you get killed or you kill the other person, immaterial. If you get killed, you go to the heaven, Swarga, because you have done what is required to be done as per your birth, as per your Kshatriya Dharma. So when you perform in that spirit, no papam would accrue to you. This is known as Karma Yoga, integrated with the correct knowledge of body and the soul. That was Sankhya Yoga, the second chapter, path of correct knowledge. I'm just recapitulating what we did so far. for the sake of the late tuners. So the third one is the Karma Yoga, which is the path of action. So we are not used to acquiring the knowledge of Tattvam, the philosophy. We cannot easily practice the Jnana Yoga, the realization or the visual vision of the Jivatma, of the Atma, of the self. So from the cradle up to the grave, we are familiar with only action. We cannot sit without any action. Right from the birth up to the end, we have to act. So whether it's eating or sleeping or walking or anything. So the only path of action, the karma, is the most suitable for laymen, lay folks like us, like me. So talking about action or karma, Krishna explains how in Vedic Shastras, karma means sacrifice. It is offering to the Lord, sacrificial offering. So Krishna explained how doing one's own duties as per Varnashrama Dharma, as per your birth, as per your status, whether you are a brahmacharya or a grahastha or a vanaprastha or sannyasi, based on that, in consonance with one's action, it is important. So while doing the karma, one should of course remove the thought of being the doer, knowing that all actions are triggered by the three gunas: sattvam, rajas, tamas, the mode of passion, the mode of ignorance, and the mode of purity. Sattvam, associated with the body. So when we take the body, every birth, we are associated with the karma, the accrued punyas and papas, and the trigunam, the prakriti sambandham, the triguna sambandham, rajas, tamas, sattvam, all mixed with that karma influence us to work, act, talk, behave, go on the wrong path, go on the right path. When sattva gunam is in ascendance, we attend Vishnu Sahasranamam class. Otherwise we say, chalo, he is just rambling, forget it. Rajas, tamas picks up. Let me sleep for an hour. So all that would come. And then we comes fourth chapter, which we saw last few weeks, path of knowledge-oriented action. Jnana Karma Yoga, path of knowledge-oriented action. Krishna explained, at the beginning of time he taught this to the sun Devata, Surya Devata, and through him to the subsequent generation. But due to decline in understanding by subsequent generation, over a period of time, the path is it was forgotten. So for reviving that path of Karma Yoga, Krishna advises various practice like self-control, like worship, like visiting the divine places, like the holy rivers. If these are done as dedication to the Lord, like you do the karma as a dedication, as an offering to the Lord, without attaching yourself to the fruits of the action, they inculcate certain discipline, leading to the path of correct knowledge mentioned earlier, the right knowledge of the self. So all that he tries to say is, I know it's difficult to control mind, but if you offer anything that you do as a householder, as a worker, as a student, as an employee, as an employer, as a husband, wife, teacher, whoever it is, as an offering to the Supreme, one who has given us the birth, the tools, the faculty of mind, the intellect, as a service to him. He has blessed us with this. So, with the discriminatory power, so we should discipline, control, and as an offering. And that's the fourth chapter. Then comes fifth chapter, which we are going to do now. Karma Sannyasa Yoga. It's called path of renunciation of action. The first 6 chapters talk about Karma Jnana Yoga, up to the realization of the Jivatma, the realization of the Atma, the vision of the Atma. the understanding of the Atma. That's what is the first 6 chapters. From 7th chapter to 12th chapter, he is going to talk about the Bhakti Yoga. That we will see later. Don't get confused. Let's not jump the gun. So here, Krishna instructs in this 5th chapter the path of action performed without attachment, and it is not only easy to adopt, but it will also give result. Path of action without attachment to the result. It's not that easy, but it is quite efficient to give you the result, because pointed focus, concentration will be possible with that. Otherwise you will be thinking about the target. The truth that the souls in all beings are the same will then dawn upon you, and one would learn to look at everyone with equanimity in all living beings. He says that is known as vision of the self, seeing Atma in a summary form of the 5th chapter. Anyway, we will now go to the summary or bigger summary of the 5th chapter. 5th chapter, Swami Alavandar says in Gitartha Sangraham, in the 5th chapter, he says, Karma yogasya saukaryam shaigryam kaschana tadvidaha brahmajnana prakarascha panchamadhyaya uchyate. In the 5th chapter, describes that karma yoga gives result in the direct perception of the Jivatma more easily. Karma yoga gives you the direct perception, understanding, visualization of the Jivatma easily, quicker than the Jnana yoga, much quicker. He is going to say, and he lists the various divisions of Karma yoga in this chapter. He shows how renouncing action is inherent in performing action. Renouncing action means the result. And 4, the usefulness of this knowledge gained by the exercise is being talked about in this wonderful sloka. So in the present chapter, 5th chapter, Krishna presents a new dimension, a wonderful different perspective, a dimension untouched that would lead easily and quickly to the liberation, the moksha. So apart from dispassionately detaching yourself to the fruits of action, Krishna advises development of a sense of equanimity, calm, composure, and tolerance towards one and all beings. Such a beautiful sloka, such a beautiful chapter. He says this attitude of being equanimous would entail recognition of the Lord, Bhagavan, encompassing in all living beings, as much as he does in his own Atma, and therefore will develop, will inculcate compassion, a kind of being caring. It goes beyond that body, and consideration towards all creatures, humans down to insects and critters. So, such a beautiful way, he says, in the earlier chapter, Krishna was advising practicing Karma Yoga, Jnana Yoga, Karma Yoga blossoming into Jnana Yoga, and again reverting to Karma Yoga now as the means to perceive Atma. Arjuna was confused. Hey, wait, you are telling so many things. Tell me precisely which single path would more effectively ensure the objective with utmost clarity. Tell me. So, though both the paths, karma and jnana, karma yoga and jnana yoga, lead to the same visualization or seeing or sakshatkaram in Sanskrit, or seeing in English, of the self, of the Jivatma, of the Atma. And any one of these two can be adopted by the practitioner. But Krishna says Karma Yoga would give you quicker result than standalone Jnana Yoga, because it will take a longer time to focus mind, to sit, to do the dhyanam, which is extremely difficult, at least for Arya. So this is because of the realization that the Karma Yogi understand that all his actions are brought out because of association with the body, with the prana, with the indriyams, with the sense organ, and that themselves are conditioned by the previous karmas, karma vasanas, and he renounces the doership. See, not because I am saying this, I understand this, I do that, I follow that, I adhere to that, completely remove that from your mind. I am also in the UKG, you are in LKG maybe, or you are in the next section in UKG. However, we will just read how beautifully Krishna comes out with. We are, if you understand that we are the self and we are different from the body, and if we do the karma, our duty, whatever it is, we will not do the wrong duties, of course, if we offer to the Lord. We will do the right dharmic duty, whatever that we are supposed to do. Even as a householder, dharmic way you enjoy life, dharmic manner you eat, dharmic manner you cook food, dharmic manner you offer the food to the Lord, and then you partake as the prasadam as offered to Him. Then you would not offer something which is forbidden in the Shastra. You would not offer something which is against the Shastra. So when you keep doing that, when you do the duty without attaching yourself to the result of the action, you excel. Because you do as an offering to Him, you give your best shot. And still if you get 80% in the exam, that's all. You are given the best of your ability. You get what at that. But you never were lazy, or you saw, no, it's enough if I just pass. You didn't have that alasyam, laziness, lethargy. You wanted to give the best shot, make use of the best tools, the brain, the intellect the Lord has blessed me with, and give your best shot and get the result. Whatever it comes, we accept because we offered that to Him. It is He who has blessed us with this life, with the result. So if He gives good things, because of our punya. If He gives the wrong thing, it is because of the papa. Accept both with equal mind, because that's the way we live our life. So no personal attachment or hatred. So this is because a doership is removed. He is the doer. I am the instrument. That's why when we do Sandhya Vandana, we have been taught to do Sattvika Tyaga. Bhagavaneva Swaniyamya Swasmai Supreetaya Swayameva Karayati. He says He has made me as an instrument to get this ritual, the Vaidika action performed by me for His pleasure. He Himself gets it done through me as an instrument. And then at the end, He has done through me as an instrument for His pleasure. So thereby, anything, whether it is plus or minus, punya or papa, is not attached to me if I offer that to Him. So, Sattvika Tyaga it is called. So here, Krishna says very many things. He reiterates unambiguously. While both Karma Yoga and Jnana Yoga aim at the same goal, Karma Yoga any day is better than Jnana Yoga, because Karma Yogi is steadfast, is firm in the performance of karma with the single pointed concentration on visualization of the self, of the doer, and thus it is easy to practice for getting the jnanam, getting the realization of the self sooner. So he mentions all that, and Krishna spells out the magic formula here. Be in it and yet be out of it at the same time. And then he says, There is one sloka which I would like to bring here. 1 minute. Let me. I think it is the 10th sloka. Brahmanyadhaya karmani sangam tyaktva karoti yaha lipyate nasa papena padma patramivambasa. The attachment to prakriti, to the matter, to our body, is the root cause of all pap. The root cause of all papams leading to bondage. So the prakriti is the one that triggers vasanas. So karma yogi is not so attached to the prakriti vasanas. The papam do not accrue to him. As I mentioned, if you offer to the Lord, it does not accrue to him. So to a query by Arjuna, how the same action can result in bondage for one who is not a karma yogi, who is just doing as attached to the body or the action, whereas the other one, detachment to the result, detachment to the body, doership, he performed, he would liberate, whereas this person would be bonded. How it is possible? Same work done by two individuals. One is a karma yogi and the other is not. One results in liberation, other results in bondage. Krishna answers that when one undertakes an action leading to enjoy the fruits of the action, he gets entangled in samsara. So, a medicine, Amur Swami, there is one person, Acharya, he mentioned, a medicine when taken with honey yields some result. The same medicine when taken with ghee yields a different result. Similarly, same action when done with an eye focus on fruits and when done without attachment to fruits will give different result. Krishna gives a beautiful example comparing the body to a city with 9 gateways. He says, all contacts take place through the 9 gateways, the 9 vasal, udalukku 9 vasal, and karma yogi gives up the attachment to the activities of the sense organs, even though he cannot give up the relevant activity themselves. So when the senses come into contact with the sense objects, like tasting a sweet, or seeing a pleasant sight, or listening to good music, which belong to the needs of the body, there arises an attachment to them, developing a craving and longing to experience those again and again and again, thus immersing the soul, the atma, the mind, the intellect, the body deep into the samsara. If one detaches himself or herself from these body temptation, they no longer bind him or liberate him. He says, Sarva karmani manasa sanyasyaste sukham vashi navadware puro dehi naiva kurvanna karayan. The embodied self, the atma, which is embodied, covered by the body, makes over all the works of the city of 9 gates with the help of the mind and the intellect, being the master of itself, resides at neither doing anything nor causing the body to work. So we will enjoy all these things later. There is one sloka which I would just bring and of course describe next week also. It says, Vidya Vinaya Sampanne Brahmane Gavi Hastini Sunischaiva Swapakecha Pandita Samadarshinaha. Who is the Pandita? Who is the scholar? The one who has learnt the 4 Vedas, Vedantams, Shastrams, Upanishads, and Ramayana, Bhagavata Purana, Bhagavad Gita. Is he a Pandita? Maybe, maybe not. One who has learnt the Nalayar Divya Prabandham, or one who has learnt astrophysics, one who has become the chief of NASA, who knows the inside and outside of the galaxy, the astronomy, astrophysics, whatever it is. Is he a Pandita, scholar? Krishna says, Pandita is the one. One, great learning brings great humility. That is the Pandita. As our knowledge increases, we become increasingly aware of the engulfing darkness. This is written by Sarvapalli Radhakrishnan. Vidya Vinaya Sampanne. So, he says, what we know is practically nothing compared to what we do not know. Like I mentioned few weeks back about Bharadwaja, who had sage Bharadwaja, who wanted to spend 100 more years, 300 years. He got from Devendra 3 times 100 years in order to learn Vedas. After 300 years, he asked Devendra, have I finished learning Vedas? And Devendra showed 3 huge mountains and took one handful of sand. What you learnt is one handful of sand. What you are yet to learn in Vedas are the 3 mountains. So there is nothing that one can see the limit in learning. So much we do not know. A little knowledge leads to dogmatism. A little more to questioning. A little more takes us to prayer. Humility comes from the knowledge that we are sustained by the love, by the kadal, by the priti, by the bhakti towards God. So he says, Brahmane Gavi Hastini Sunichaiva Swapakecha Pandita Samadarshana. The Brahmin and the elephant and the dog eater, all of them. I mentioned Brahmin and then the elephant as a representative, and the dog eater, the one who eats dog, and the Pandit and all these, etc. others. Pandita would look at all of them equally, no difference, no disparity, no partiality, because he doesn't see their body, he sees the universal, the Lord residing in them. So great yogis will look at a high class person with one who is a scholar, Vedic scholar, a holy cow, a majestic elephant, a despicable dog, and one who eats the meat of a dog with equanimity and will not love one for its holiness or hate another for its lowliness. No. So the sun's, the Surya Kadir, the sun's rays do not discriminate between Ganga Jalam and the Shakadai, the trench, and shines on all of them equally. One who has obtained this Sakshatkara, the universe, the self, does not differentiate between different living beings. So when he sees a worm or a reptile or an animal, he would feel sorry for their birth in having to suffer in their respective body. Instead, he would seek to see them, the pure souls, the Atma, residing in their body, and therefore would not like to cause any hurt, any injury to them. In fact, Asmadacharyan, Srimad Paravakote Andavan, in his ashram, he would simply wave his upper cloth, Uttriyam. He has his upper cloth. He would simply wave his upper cloth like this, towards left and right or right up and down, and it is to drive away the mosquitoes which is sitting on his body. He would not beat the mosquito and kill, because there are several occasions we were given to realize that the shariram of Asmadacharya, like that of the Lord, is made of pure substance, probably not like ours. So I could see this whenever I used to visit the ashram. When there was a snake which was coming, when few people were listening to his discourse, it came into the ashram. people jumped and they wanted to take a stick and beat. He said, leave it, let it go. And it would went into hiding. So he would not like to intentionally, unintentionally he may cause, intentionally cause any himsa to any being which comes on the way. So that's the way he went through all that. Not even once did he venture to chase away the mosquito or the snake or the whatever. So he was not bothered because his concentration was the discourse, was to be a sannyasa, to be a recluse. So compassion, even to serpents and the mosquitoes at the ashramam, was a testimony to this sloka. Enough said, we will enjoy the slokas next week. Dhanyosmi. Kavitarkika Simhaya Kalyana Gunashaline Srimate Venkateshaya Vedanta Gurave Namaha.